Welcome to the July 22nd, 2025, which is our 16th voting session, regular session of the Mayor and City Council of Hagerstown. The meeting is now called to order. First up, I would like to invite our own Councilwoman Caroline Anderson to do the invocation, please. Everybody stand. Say which comes first. You don't have to. Yeah, you got it.
I pledge allegiance.
No.
Nope.
Invocation.
Oh, sorry.
I'll take care of the pledge. All right, Erica, can you take it over real quick?
What?
Can you take over on the invocation real quick? You can say it right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do the invocation this evening.
Thank you.
As we gather here this evening, may we be ever mindful of opportunities to render ourselves to the service of fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life and exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which we can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make this a better place.
Please stand for pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks. Okay, first up, we have our announcements. Our rules of procedure effective December 17th, 2024. Use of cell phones during meetings is restricted. All correspondence for distribution to elected officials should be provided to the city clerk and should include a copy for the city clerk for inclusion in the official record. Our next meeting schedules for August are Tuesday, August 5th, 2025 is a work session at 4 p.m. Tuesday, August 5th, 2025 is the National Night Out at 5 p.m. at Fairgrounds Park. August 12th, 2025, work session at 4 p.m. August 19th, 2025, work session at 4 p.m. And August 26th, 2025 is a regular session at 7 p.m. All right, I have two appointments tonight, and I'd like to get a motion for the first one for the Ethics Commission, Mr. Louis C. Metzner.
Mr. Mayor, hereby move to appoint Louis Metzer to Ethics Commission, term to expire September 1st, 2030.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next is the Historic District Commission, Tracy Carr.
Mr. Mayor, hereby appoint Tracy Carr to Historic District Commission, term to expire June 30th, 2028.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, vote passed tonight. Neither one are here, so we'll just move on to the next. First up is agenda item citizen comments. They're listed for anything listed on the agenda item for consideration, and it's limited to 3 minutes, but no one signed up for that. And if anybody would like to speak on anything on the agenda, feel free to step up. Okay. Move on to promotions. First up is the approval of minutes.
Mr. Mayor, hereby move for the approval of minutes as presented for the mayor and council meetings held on May 6, 2025, May 13, 2025, May 15, 2025, May 20th, 2025, May 27, 2025, June 3rd, 2025, June 10th, 2025, and June 17, 2025.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next up is the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mayor,
you want to go ahead and go?
you got it.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I hereby move that all the consent agenda be approved as presented. Note, if you want to discuss any one item listed on the consent agenda, you must first make a request to remove that item from the consent agenda. The item automatically is moved to the last item under new business and may then be discussed at that time. The appropriate motion for approval then is, I hereby move that the consent agenda, with the exception of a certain topic, be approved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move item B, community engagement of a container exemption request from the consent agenda to the regular agenda for vote. Okay. That's this one on the desk. Okay. All right.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next up, approval of a resolution, approval to enter into parking lease with the State of Maryland Department of Juvenile Services.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the approval of a resolution to enter into a parking lease with the State of Maryland Department of Juvenile Services. The City of Hagerstown shall provide 14 undesignated parking spaces in the University District parking deck located at 25 North Potomac Street. The term of the parking lease is 3 years beginning July 1, 2026 and concluding on June 30, 2029, with a possible renewal term of 3 years to be negotiated by both parties. The parking rate shall be $70 per month per space for an annual payment amount of $11,760 and no cents.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of a resolution, approval of an operating agreement with the Hagerstown Ice Amateur Athletic Association Incorporated.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the approval of a resolution to enter into an operating agreement between the City of Hagerstown and the Hagerstown Ice Amateur Athletic Association Incorporated for the operating and management services in connection with the operation of the ice rink located on 580 Security Road. The term of the lease shall be for 1 year from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. The rent shall be $3,030 per month.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of a resolution, approval of a second electric vehicle charging services agreement with the Electric Vehicle Institute.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the mayor and council to approve a resolution to enter into a second electric vehicle charging service agreement with the Electric Vehicle Institute. The agreement is for the Electric Vehicle Institute to provide electric vehicle charging services through the deployment of 4 EV fast charging stations located at 14 North Potomac Street. The length of the agreement shall be for a 5-year term, beginning or about August 20th, 2025. The city's share, the net revenue of the charging services shall be 50%.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of a resolution, approval of State of Maryland MEDAAF conditional loan, New Code Reading LLC.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and city council approval of a resolution authorizing local support of the Maryland Economic Assistance Authority Fund or Advantage Maryland between the State of Maryland Department of Commerce and New Code Reading LLC. New Code Reading LLC plans to create a cold storage warehouse facility located at 45 West Oak Ridge, Hagerstown, Maryland, and invest at least $275 million and create approximately 125 full-time jobs. No city funding is necessary for the execution of the conditional loan between the State of Maryland and New Code Reading LLC.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just a brief comment. We're reading this motion. I don't think folks in general realize how big of a deal this is for the city and that level of investment. And just wanted to say thanks to city economic development staff, because I know that you guys worked hard on this particular item to land this. And so, thank you.
Yes, agreed. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of a resolution, revised subrecipient grant agreements for Main Street Startup Grant Program.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the mayor and city council approval of a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a revised subrecipient grant agreement for the implementation of the Main Street Startup Grant Program. to prior and future applicants and recipients, including those identified on the attached resolution with the award amount shown. The subrecipient agreement for each will follow the attached template. Staff are authorized to make edits to the subrecipient agreements as necessitated by any requirements of the state of Maryland or U.S. federal government for the program. The deadline for each remains 10/15/2025, or the date that all available funds up to the awarded amount has been dispersed, whichever occurs sooner. Any unused portion of the funding shall remain at the city and will be reallocated to another project or program at that time. Funding for this program is provided by the Project Restore Grant from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, better known as DHCD. Any prior subrecipient grant agreement signed under the Main Street Startup Grant Program shall be null and void upon execution of the revised agreements.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of a resolution, monthly speed camera contract.
Mr. Mayor, we move for the mayor and council approval of a resolution to renew the speed camera contract with Ultimate for a period of 1 year commencing on June 1, 2025, terminating on May 31st, 2026, with an option to be extended for up to 3 additional 1-year periods.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of resolution, monthly speed camera collection services.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council to approve the resolution to renew the speed camera collection services contract with Altamont for a period of 1 year, and unless the city gives 90 days written notice prior to the conclusion of the current term, shall automatically renew for the period of 1 year for the total of 4-year renewal years.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Engineering and Capital Grants Program, Bay Restoration Fund Grant Application for Enhanced Nutrient Removal Operation and Maintenance.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and city council approval of the Bay Restoration Fund grant application for engineering and capital projects for enhanced nutrient removal operation and maintenance. Funding will be used for enhanced nutrient removal improvement projects identified in the FY26 CIP and operating budget to help ensure compliance with the city's NPDES nutrient load requirements for nitrogen and phosphorus.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next up, approval to accept the Warrant Apprehension Program grant.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval to accept a State of Maryland Warrant Apprehensive Program grant in the amount of $50,000. This grant will fund overtime for manpower to conduct warrant attempt details, guarding of prisoners at the hospital, travel reimbursement, and other extradition costs, and breaching equipment.
Got a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval to accept the Maryland Criminal Intelligence Network grant.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council to council approval to accept the Maryland Criminal Intelligence Network grant, which is 100% grant funded and totals $280,717. The goal of this grant is to focus on the high priority offenders within our community with an emphasis on the criminal networks and enforcement. This non-match grant has been offered and awarded annually for the last several years.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Amendment to Hagerstown Neighborhood Development Partnership, Inc., FY 2024 Subrecipient Agreement.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the mayor and city council to approve the amendments to FY24 HNDP subrecipient agreement for the following actions: extension of the time of performance to December 31st, 2025, modification to paragraph D, scope of services to allow the individual grant amounts up to $5,000 for first-time home buyer purchasing a home in the city of Hagerstown, Funds will be used for a down payment and closing cost assistance. Details of the amendments are attached.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, that's it for our motions. All right. One more? Oh, up on the front, we got you. Approval of an open container exemption and application permit for Vibes Lounge 90s Cookout Party.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the approval of an open container exemption and application permit for Vibes Lounge for a 90s cookout party to be held on Saturday, August 9th, 2025, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. This event will be held in the Antietam parking lot at 18 West Antietam Street in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question. Hi, Brittany. Thanks. As we just got the application, will there be, and I don't know if Captain's here, an issuance for a nuisance sound permit?
There should not be a legal one because their event is from 4 to 10 p.m. So I think that the noise ordinance is after 11 p.m. So I think it should be okay.
Okay.
We're having a logistics meeting this Thursday with Vibes. So we'll go through all of those details, but I think there shouldn't need to be a need for that because it's within the ordinance. Yep.
I would stress at that logistics meeting for the local residents to be aware
Okay.
of such event, so
Yep.
our police officers aren't getting lots of calls from the area.
Yes. Sounds good. We will
One
do
more
so.
question.
Yes.
So she will have that parking lot that's kind of used for court during the day. Is that what that's for? So she'll have the whole back of her area?
Yes, the whole lot right there will be blocked off, so it will be barricaded off. And normally we require some type of security. So again, we'll discuss that at the logistics meeting, but this is not their first go around. So we'll make sure all those details are covered. But yes, it'll be barricaded off in that space. It's the first time we've used that location for an event like this. So we'll make sure we give all those parameters at the logistics meeting. But I think just in that back portion, the plan is to do double Dutch and then some tables for card games. So that's the plan for there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Brittany? Or any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, next up is general citizen comments. Again, I want to remind everybody, Don will have the timer up here, it'll be 3 minutes. Please keep it 3 minutes if you're in the last part of your sentence. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to finish up. So let's go to our first one, which is, I'll call your name, but still when you come up, just say your name and address for everyone, please. Curtis Wright.
Hello, my name is Curtis Ray. I live in Hagerstown. The reason I came here today is actually to voice my support for this homeless bill that is coming out. And the reason I'm here is currently there's a lot of stigma with it, that people are upset that we're having a war on homeless people. But the main problem that we're having right now as a community is that these people are pretty much invading all of the public spaces in which you have children constantly out and about. Example would be parks. Just on Facebook, we've seen on Happening in Hagerstown where homeless people were just shooting up heroin in the parks. This was all recorded. And we're not really doing much about it, but we're finally getting through that. It's like, hey, we actually need to try and address this issue and not just have people scared to bring their kids outside, not have, women and children scared to just go outside in general because of all of the issues that are rising with the homeless. And then on top of that, the homeless encampments. They're causing such an issue with people. Example would be if there was a homeless person sleeping on the side of your stoop, there was nothing a police officer could do. So if you were a single woman living in your house and there was just a vagrant sleeping beside your door, there was nothing that they could do. They could tell him to leave, but they didn't have any way of enforcing it. That was a main issue. But now with this bill, we're actually able to enforce these problems. And then this is also another thing. These people, Hagerstown has one of the largest support networks for the homeless population. If you work with any nonprofits or know anything about the nonprofit sector, they have so many vacancies available for homeless people right now. It's absurd. But there is one little catch to being able to get into one of these facilities for you to be housed. You can't do drugs. That's it. If you choose to do drugs, you are unable to go to these facilities because these facilities are to help people that want to rehabilitate themselves. The people out on the street right now do not want to rehabilitate. They are still stuck in their issues that they do not want to rehabilitate yet. And to force people to have to deal with these individuals that are constantly doing drugs, it's uncalled for, and it's ruining our community that we're giving into them. And I'm glad that we're finally taking a stand against it. And I'm very proud that our mayor actually is deciding to do this. And I think our county should have been the one to actually spearhead this, but they chose not to. So it comes down to the local municipalities. So at the end of the day, I'm very grateful that you all are actually attempting to try and get a solution out of this. Thank you.
Next up is Briella Sharon Now. Hang on one second, Ms. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. I'm a business owner in Hagerstown, Maryland. My husband and I own J&S Trains. We're located at Route 11, Antique Mall on Pennsylvania Avenue. And my granddaughter is a North Hagerstown resident. She's one of the children of Hagerstown. And we're here tonight about the locomotive the Save 202 locomotive. And the thing I wanted to read on record, I just want to read this on record because of Cumberland's interest in our train, or the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, is at the train. We were there Friday, and at the train it says, to the city of Hagerstown, to the children of Hagerstown, built in 1912, the passenger train engine served Hagerstown daily for 40 years. It is presented for your enjoyment and for permanent exhibition as an example of the steam engines that did so much to build this community and nation. And this was written by the president of the Western Maryland Railway Company back in November of 1953. And when I read this to my granddaughter, here's what her comment was.
Permanent means forever.
The other thing is, we also received a letter. I belong with the Hub City National Historical Railroad Society, and we received a letter from a good friend of John Long, who started the foundation for the Locomotive 202. She's a dear friend of his daughter, Eleanor, and she could not be here tonight, but she was so upset about the train maybe leaving Hagerstown, she wrote this letter. To the Mayor and City Council, my name is Pamela Shaw, and I was born in Hagerstown, and I'm a resident of Washington County. I'm writing to express my dismay at the city of Hagerstown even considering the move of Engine 202 out of the city park. That engine was donated to the children of Hagerstown, and it has previously restored by a dear friend of mine, Mr. John Long. I met Mr. Long in 1989 while I was employed with steel fabrication in a firm in Hagerstown. John Long absolutely loved the railroad. He was a frugal man, not eating out for many years at restaurants, but he eventually went to the railroad junction where he could sit in the caboose. John's love for the engine 202 was unwavering. He spent countless hours looking for parts, working on parts, installing them onto the engine. John established the Locomotive 202 Foundation specifically for renovating the engine. While he may have dreamed of making this locomotive mobile, he would have never wanted it removed from the city of Hagerstown. What is happening with this engine right now is completely against what multiple individuals have wanted with this engine. No one ever wanted it to leave Hagerstown. Per John's obituary, his work on Locomotive 202 led to his acquisition of additional rolling stock and artifacts that are now on display in this Railroad Museum at City Park. He felt this was a good way to thank the city of Hagerstown for giving him many positive life opportunities.
Can we finish up? Go ahead. We're at the 3-minute mark.
I
Can you
thought I
finish up?
had 6 minutes because we
No.
have 2 of us. but-
3 minutes.
All right. So all she said was, do not send this engine to Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. Keep it in Hagerstown and figure a path forward. It belongs here, right in Hagerstown.
Okay.
Sincerely, Pamela Shaw, Rouserville, Maryland. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Richard Roach.
Mayor, council, staff members, thank you very much. It's been about a year you've been listening to me come up here. And I just realized again that we have character counts community in the front. We have fairness somewhere here. We have respect. We have caring. And for the most part, we have all worked within those words, the definitions of those words with some frustration. But before I go further, I want to publicly thank, first off, Councilman Alshire for his astute picking up on the fact that the agreement that you reviewed recently had a significant financial flaw that could jeopardize Hagerstown's financial situation down the road. Councilman Alshire, thank you for that. If the locomotive does go and that provision is in, at least Hagerstown may have a hope of getting it back somewhere down the line if Cumberland defaults. I also want to publicly thank Councilman Sean Flaherty, who has made himself available, totally accessible, almost 24 hours a day, without ever making any promises throughout the whole time that the locomotive would stay put. Councilman, thank you very much for your transparency, your willingness to sit down and meet. And Mayor, I also want to thank you for your notification last week that you wanted to see that we got back on the agenda for one final say regarding Locomotive 202. Communication in this issue has been less than what I think is desirable, considering that everybody involved in this is a child of Hagerstown, either born and raised here or what have you. But you have a right to limit people to certain amounts of time, and I respect that. I just want to move on by closing and saying that the entire matter is very perplexing. Just within the last couple of days, we celebrated as a community a brand new Boys and Girls Club of Hagerstown and Washington County. This entire year, we have been in a partnership with that very Boys and Girls Club, and even as recently as last Thursday and coming up this Thursday, we are busing the boys and girls to the train hub to see Locomotive 202 and ring its bell. The theatrics of this just absolutely blow me out of the water. All these state officials, city officials celebrating this new facility while the locomotive is creeping out the back of the park towards Cumberland as we speak. Somebody please explain that to me. Lastly, what's troubling in my last 12 minutes is we have uncovered the real reason why this locomotive is going to leave Hagerstown. And that is because it's meant to benefit the communities of Cumberland, Frostburg, and Oakland, Maryland, and their grand plan for a tourist attraction railroad to run to Deep Creek Lake. Thank you all, and we look forward to our meeting on the 12th.
Okay, next up, Olivia Newton-Shawn.
Hello, I am Olivia Newton-Shawn, and I live in Hagerstown, and I just wanted to cordially invite the mayor and council to Derek Harvey's criminal trial on August 12th, courtroom 1. The Honorable Eric Schaefer is presiding. It's at 8:30 in the morning. You guys are all welcome to come and watch Derek Harvey actually face justice. I don't know if you guys are aware, but he is charged with assault. He actually assaulted a citizen. The crime that this citizen perpetrated was to videotape another citizen, Curtis Ray, being arrested for the content of his free speech. They called it trespassing, even though the floor was yielded to him. This crazy guy, John Barr, you may have heard of him, had him arrested. So this man, Justin Holder, was videotaping this other man, Curtis Ray, get arrested for free speech. And Derek Harvey, the Nazi that he is, came up from behind and shoved this guy and demanded that he get out of here. You're out of here is what he said on the video. And this man had 5 broken ribs and a broken scapula in his shoulder that he was recovering from. So he was actually re-injured and had to go to Meritus Hospital to get treatment for his injuries that he re-sustained by being attacked by Commissioner Derek Harvey, a complete nut job. So if you guys would like to go and watch justice be dispensed to politicians equally as if he were a normal citizen, August 12th at 8:30 in the morning, Eric Schaefer is presiding, and it's going to be a heck of a trial. The witness is, preparing as we speak to talk about the pain and the agony and the suffering. Basically, Derek Harvey snuck up from behind, like he does many men, and just attacked and pounced on Justin Holder. And Justin Holder, after being attacked from behind by Derek Harvey, he's never going to walk right again. Like a lot of other men that get pounced on from behind by Commissioner Derek Harvey. So anyway, I just wanted to make that announcement. Also, you should watch the next commissioners meeting. The Washington County Board of County Commissioners has to read a formal apology to me for illegally trespassing me from public meetings. They're going to read it in this coming Tuesday, so 7 days from today. John Barr has to read it in. He cannot delegate it to one of his lackeys like Zach Kiefer or that crook Michelle Gordon. He actually has to read in this apology into the record, admitting that they broke the law like the criminals that they are for banning citizens from public comment periods at the commissioner meetings. And of course, it applies to the man that was arrested for trespassing for the contents of his free speech. All he did was ask Commissioner John Barr, the board president, to resign, and for his child molestation allegations that are circuit court record to be thoroughly investigated, because the mother of the victim has told me in an interview that basically he uses power and his clout and some attorney named David Pembroke to go behind the scenes and make it all go away and disappear. So for asking those questions, Curtis Ray was arrested. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. Next up, Jim McGarity.
Hi, I'm Jim McGarity. I live at 13007 Lance Circle, Hagerstown. I've been a businessman in Hagerstown for 43 years. I own auto parts stores. I just sold out about 5 years ago and retired, which someday you all get there. But I want to talk about the 202 again. I know you guys get tired of hearing it, but we're getting really confused. Mr. Long, from what I've been reading and hearing, had put a lot of his own money in restoring that locomotive back in, I guess, 83 or something like that. And he pretty much had it done. But then I guess ill health hit him and basically passed away after that. We've been hearing stories of restoring this thing as anywhere from $100,000 to $3 million. We have no idea what it would cost. We'd like to have the right to have a couple people come in and give us some ideas so that maybe we can help the city raise the money to restore it. We've been in contact with a lot of business leaders in Hagerstown. Hopefully they're getting hold of you all and telling you they want to save the 202 also. And we're hearing somebody wants it out of the city park. You know, if that's true, somebody could tell us for sure, maybe we can help find a place to put it. Trouble is we're getting too many stories. State money's available because Cumberland's getting state money to restore it. Why can't we get the state money and keep something here that's actually at the Children's of Hagerstown? It's been here since '53, so why get rid of it now? Yeah, we want it to stay here in Hagerstown. So big thing is save the 202. My wife worked for the Western Maryland Railroad. My uncle worked for Penn and down in Baltimore. So railroading is, I was asking people to start taking pictures of the Hub City Railroad pictures around town. I left the library the other day, and there's one down there as you leave the back door. You know, a truck and a steam engine. Yeah, the employees were getting, some people say they would just want to get rid of it, it's already sold. Well, it can't be already sold because somebody sat here a couple of weeks ago and presented their MOU, which you discussed. So it can't be sold. So is it sold or isn't it sold? It seems like nobody can answer that question. Okay, and, to move. Yeah, if you want it moved, yeah, once again, if you want to move, let us know. We'll maybe come up with the money to get moved somewhere else. And the business leaders of Hagerstown, everybody we're talking to is in favor of it staying here. We're going to keep rallying local businesses to support us to keep it here. Thank you very much. And Ms. Burnett, thank you. I did email you and you emailed me back. I really appreciate that. Somebody answers. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next up is Jack Trumbull.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, Council, my fellow Hagerstown citizens, I'm new to Hagerstown. I moved here about 6 months ago from Annapolis. And something that I would like to address is when I moved here, I noted that there was a warmth to the people of Hagerstown that I didn't see back in Annapolis. You can think of that what you want. But something else I noticed about Hagerstown, in addition to the warmth and kindness of the citizens here, is that there is a much larger epidemic of homelessness in Hagerstown. Today, I saw the ordinance that's planned to be passed and put into effect in August. And I was thinking to myself, why are we punishing them when they don't have the resources and opportunities to come out of this? I did some research myself and looked up resources such as the Hagerstown Housing Authority for disadvantaged folks, Section 8 housing. It's over a year's wait. We don't have a ton of overnight staying shelters for people who don't have homes. Why are we finding them when they don't have anywhere to go? Can we criminalize homelessness? Because that's what it seems like we're doing. I think that we were all granted life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as said in the Declaration of Independence, and it is my further belief that these are the rights of man. I think that criminalizing someone's existence who is in one of the hardest phases of their lives, it smacks to me of un-Americanism, frankly. And I don't know why in the hardest moments of their lives, we're turning on them instead of handing them a helping hand. I don't have organized notes on this. I found out about this afternoon. I just wanted to come and express my severe displeasure that this town that I'm coming to love is pursuing such a cruel measure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trumbull. Next up, Michael Stout.
I knew I had to call him again. Michael Stopp, 18 South Mulberry, East End. Very quickly, the camping ordinance is fine, but I'm going to bring you down to reality. They're going to be here in 4 years. Same thing's going to be going on. It's been going on. Scott, Councilman Alshire, Terry, they've been here for 4 years. I've been about the same issue. I can tell you what's happening. They swept Bixer Alley, and you all saw what happened in Bixer Alley. It looked like New York slum and LA slum. That should never have happened. My neighborhood has to put up with it. Go over there today, it's going right back to the same thing. All they're doing is moving from there to another area. So maybe you all better think about rent control. I know them landlords are gonna boom on that, but something is wrong that these rents are going up and the buildings are not being taken care of. We had a car fire in the last week. I've talked to the chief about the car still sitting over there on South Mulberry in the back. Somebody lit the car on fire from Virginia. We've had numerous fires. We have trash cans being taken. They take the trash cans to the store, fill them up with merchandise, and run through the neighborhood selling. You all have got to realize this problem has been around for 4 years. It's not going away. I see it in my neighborhood, and I'm sure you're seeing it in other neighborhoods. But you council members have to remember, you were elected to serve all the citizens, every neighborhood. Maybe you all ought to come out. Sean came out Monday, asked him what he saw. We came at 9 o'clock in the morning. We have Antietam cable wires hanging everywhere. They unhook the wires, go up Matthews Alley. It's a mess. Go up behind Elizabeth Court, behind the East Antietam, where they're going to have this so-called Bob's party further up the street. East Antietam Street's been a war zone. So I hope they're going to stick to their word about no trouble, because we're tired of trouble in the East End. We really are. And I'm going to speak my mind whether you all like it or not. I'm not putting any of you people, it's not personal. And my website, believe you me, I called the county commissioners the good old boys. What he just said, they'll love me for calling them that. So I don't know anything. No one is a part of my website. Some people think I'm Democrat. That doesn't happen with me. I hollered everybody. But I think you people need to get out and see what's going on. There's trash everywhere in the East End. There's trash everywhere. I'm been in contact with the owner of the whole hospital property. And that guy, to me, is decent. And I see some good things coming. But until that comes, we have a problem. So please come out, get out of these offices, take those high heels off, those good shoes off, come out and see what's happening. Then you'll know. Ask Sean what he saw Monday. Thank you. I'll take you up on that offer, Dr. Okay. I'm getting out of here. I have to go home.
You never stay for the follow-up, Mr. Stout. Have a seat.
No,
Never stick around. Okay. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Next up is Gwendolyn Magras, is that right? McGrath, I'm sorry.
Hello.
I apologize.
My name is Gwendolyn. I am actually a former homeowner in the Hagerstown area. I'm still involved in the area. I attend school here and I work here. Firstly, I would like to say that each and every person here is one broken down car, one job loss, or one medical crisis away from sleeping on the street. And the new ordinance is effectively creating an additional crisis by taking people that don't have any resources and assessing fines and involving them with law enforcement. I must assume that those of you who are in favor of the new ordinance have never had the misfortune of experiencing homelessness. I have. Otherwise, you would know that many of the people this will affect are already utilizing the services you claim are available and that you will be directing them to. Shelters do not function like free hotels. In fact, many shelters require that you take your belongings and vacate during the daytime. And then you have to come back in the evening to see if there is a bed still available for you. If someone else got there first, you don't have a bed that night. You have to find somewhere else to be. And maybe that's a park bench, and maybe that's a car. So what are people meant to do? Where can they go if being poor in public is illegal? Shame on every one of you that voted in favor of this new ordinance. It will do nothing to make Hagerstown safer. It simply criminalizes existing without access to financial resources. This is vile under normal circumstances, but it is especially heinous given that we are in the midst of a housing crisis and record inflation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That's the last one signed up, but if there's anybody in the audience who would like to utilize 3 minutes, you most certainly can. If anybody wants to step up? Go ahead. You want to? No? Anybody else? Just state your name and address. please.
Teresa McGarity. I'm a 20-year veteran of the Western Maryland Railway. I retired in 1987. Okay. Yeah, the letter that I received from Pamela is a good friend with John Long's daughter, and Sharon didn't get a chance to finish it, so it's I implore you to not send the engine to the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. Excuse me. Keep it in Hagerstown and figure out a path forward. Use this grant the grant that was awarded to begin the renovations, and those that want to remain start fundraising efforts to build the structure. Or if the structure can be built with a grant, get it protected. Having the state involved and having the mandate, just like John did, to keep the engine right where it belongs in Hagerstown. Sincerely, Pamela Shaw. Just means a lot to the Western Maryland people, so I just hope that you guys will consider our heritage, and I appreciate you listening to me.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Go ahead.
Some of the people that sent in comments for citizen comments are actually here, but I will just mention that we have them. On June the 20th, we received an email from Cartwright Quaison with a complaint about employment at FedEx Ground. June 24th, from Joseph Jefferson, hoping something can be done to address the illegal fireworks set off at Hamilton Park. On July 15th, 3 emails from Sean Porter with Facebook videos of county commissioners closing their meetings. On July 20th, Sean Porter noticed that he is starting a counterclaim against Commissioner John Barr and others. July 22nd, Tally Goldenberg, appalled by the ordinance banning sleeping outside. Again, today, 22nd of July, Jack Trumbull protesting prohibiting lodging out of doors ordinance. And Morgan Riley also came this afternoon and is appalled and profoundly disheartened by the recently enacted ordinance that she feels effectively criminalizes homelessness within the city.
Is that it? Okay, City Administrator.
Nothing, Mayor.
Councilman Alshire.
I have nothing this evening.
Councilwoman Anderson.
I have 2 things for you guys this evening. A little bit more on the personal note. There are 2 testimonies that I have for you guys. So the first one that I have is, for most of you who don't know, I came to Hagerstown in 2021, not by choice, just for a higher calling. Let's put it to that sense. So where am I going with this story? From 2021 to 2025, I used to have constant visions and dreams about a new school coming to this town, being ran by a Black family. And to my family, they dearly believed that that calling was meant for us. My husband, myself, my children believed that that was our calling to go ahead and start up a school. Long story short, 2024 came around. I was running for city council. I met Pastor Mack, who is the pastor for Impact Ministries, visited his property, noticed that he had empty space at the bottom of his church, and told him, this looks like a school belongs here. I don't know who's going to take care of that, but I don't know what it's telling me, but there's a school that's coming here. Let's fast forward some more. We get into this year. I get a phone call from someone at the school where my son attends, and it's a family telling me that they're interested in starting a school. Not just the family, the Black family that I have been visioning, dreaming about since I've been here in 2021. With the networking connections that I made and the visions and how everything came aligned, I called Pastor Mack, put the 2 and 2 together. Now we have it that school is going to be opening doors this August of 2025 in that location. That is the first testimony that I have. The second one for you, I'll make it very short. I'm a person with a lot of ideas, but I'm not a person with a lot of visions. The second vision that I had in 2021 was that we were going to have a local bookstore ran by a Black male, and it was very clear. This Black male wasn't just going to run the bookstore, but he was going to have a lot tied to the community. Who did I believe that was? My husband. Where I failed, it was not my husband. I asked him, I almost begged him, like, I think you should do this. I think it's the right thing. That didn't work out. Fast forward, running for city council, his name is Jason Hope. He attends one of the events that our city was having. He comes to me and says, I have to tell you something in your ear. I said, what is it that you have to tell me? He says, I'm gonna open up a bookstore and I'm gonna be very committed to the community. I literally like shook him and said, wow, you can't be like another vision that I've had. Why am I sharing this with you guys? I feel like it's very important and somebody needs to hear this today. It was called on me to actually share these two stories with you today because they are very real. And that's all I have for you guys for tonight.
Councilman Flaherty.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, we don't criminalize homelessness and, the ordinance is much needed, provided tool for HPD and I'll let it speak for itself, but we've had meetings about this for several months and nothing's been new that's going to be added to this. So if anything, we're giving the public what they need and public safety was a #1 issue. And all of us in this body, we want a better town. It shouldn't be a Republican or Democratic issue. At the end of the day, nobody deserves to see what happens in Portland and San Francisco exacerbate itself here, which we've already done that. I've already, walked with Michael on Monday and I've seen we have a long way to go. This is just the first step in that long way. So if anything, I know we made the right decisions to do that. And, we have got a ways to go, Hagerstown, but be patient with us in the meantime. So that's all I have.
Councilwoman Bell.
Because I believe deeply that one of us, any of us, is just one crisis and one emergency, one missed paycheck away from needing the same help we are now debating. That truth humbles me every day. That is what is needed. What is needed is more resources. Legislation alone will never solve homelessness. We cannot legislate pain out of people's lives. We cannot criminalize hardship and then walk away. That is why I stood firm in saying, if we move forward with this ordinance, we must also move forward with resources, support, solutions. This must be a balancing act. We must hold systems accountable and to build better ones. The city cannot do this alone. Nonprofits cannot do this alone. The police cannot do this alone. When I say more resources, we all know what that means. We need a year-round weather shelter. We need just an influx of different resources that we are lacking in the city. We all see the amount of homelessness, and my brother would kill me because he says unhoused. The lack of resources, the lack of what is needed to so many of our citizens. As a business owner downtown, I witness this every day. I am right downtown, so I see it. So many times I have people come into my shop and be like, what can I do anything? I'm hungry and I'll take my last. And they can sweep the floor. I can't afford to pay anybody, but what I will do is pour into my community any way I can. I agree, we need rent, we need a cap on the rent. These are all things that we have talked about. I encourage you to come sit at these meetings and understand what we are trying to implement, and encourage you to come sit and voice your opinions. Poverty is real, addiction is real. It is real in my own family, so I witness it every day. So like I said, we need all boots on the ground. I wish Mr. Michael was still here so he knows I take my heels off every day. I barely wear, I wear sneakers with a dress. And I will take him up on his offer. I went through that same alley he's talking about with Captain Langston. And it's real down there. I've seen it. I witnessed it every day. It is definitely real down there. This is something that's been plaguing our city for quite some time. This isn't the first administration that had to talk about the homelessness and the needed resources. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilwoman Burnett.
So I just want to thank Gwyneth. Saw you was in my council comments on Facebook. And just for the record, I usually don't go back and forth, in the comments, and I don't govern on Facebook, but when I do make a call for people to come voice their concerns, I'm glad people are actually like you yourself are listening and coming to, make your concerns to the whole body and not just me via Facebook. And that's same for Michael Staub too. He's pretty much all on Facebook and make sure the tags list. Also Mr. Richard as well. So we do see it. But the dialect going back and forth on Facebook, for me personally, I don't do that. I'd rather you come to person, come into these meetings, email me. We can have a discussion via coffee, et cetera. I'll make that offer many times in this setting. But thank you for sharing your concerns. Speaking of that, the ordinance, the prohibiting lodging ordinance, I did post my remarks that I made on July 8th about why I was a yes for the ordinance. Just for transparency, I believe that when I vote, I make sure to let the people know why I'm voting. If it's a no, I give a reason why it's no. If it's a yes, I give a reason why it's yes, if it's calling for such. And I feel like this ordinance called for a little bit more dialect from us, and that's what I chose to do. With that, I also shared, because I'm, again, transparent, I want people to have the information. I also shared the dates where this ordinance was discussed. It wasn't just a week ago. We just talked about it on April 8th, May 6th, May 27th, June 3rd, June 17th, and we approved the ordinance on July 8th. So yes, effective August 8th, the ordinance is in place. So I know there was a comment about if this is approved, it was approved on July 8th, for clarity. And keeping up with the ordinance, to Michael Staub's comment about walking the streets and taking your heels off, I don't take that personal because I do that anyway. I think what him and some people are looking for is to broadcast what we do outside of the cameras, and I feel that's not genuine. So if I show up in these big spaces and I'm talking to these people, I'm not taking pictures of them. I'm not taking pictures of needles on the ground. I'm not taking pictures and videos of those in their worst, their worst moments. I drive through Church Street every Tuesday to get here. I know what that street looks like. I'm at Stop and Go at 3 a.m. because I'll be outside with my friends getting steak and cheese subs, and I see what happens there. So it's not about what we don't see, we see it. Hence why we came up with approving this ordinance. But for my vote, I wanted to get clarity from the directors and from mayor and council. What's next? So those questions that you asked about where they're going to go, I had the same questions. Again, go back to the meetings, asking about resources. We all had the same questions. We already talked about it, we did. So what we're going to do as a body is we're going to start doing the work. We're going to start making actions now. What you're going to see is we're going to bring up rent control and rent stabilization to an agenda soon. We had our goals that we put forth. That's part of our goals. Again, look at our goals to see what this body is going to be doing. We're going to start taking action. And yes, it may not be the grand all be all. One-stop shop, that's not going to happen. We're going to need investments from our partners. We're going to need support from the organization. We're going to need the county, and we're going to need the state. The city cannot do everything by itself. So yes, there's 2,000 plus comments on Facebook. Some of y'all showed up today, thank you. But I'm not going in the comments going back and forth with y'all. This job is not easy. And again, $72 a week. And we do it with our hearts. So for those who feel the need to bash us on social media, that's your prerogative. But please come direct. Please email us. Please email me. Feel free to call me. I would love to have a conversation. And with that, one more thing. Congratulations again to Boys and Girls Club. The ceremony was beautiful. I was happy to see the former staff members there, like Darnell Schaefer and Mr. Kenny Keys was there. Some of the old Boys and Girls Club members, because I was also a club kid. I was part of the original teen group with former Takesha Martinez. She was actually my counselor. People know that story. But I was happy to see a lot of people from the community there, a lot of grandparents there. It was amazing. And again, thank you for having the Keys to the City ceremony, honoring Dennis Scott at the field house and our beautiful, amazing field house. I was in the air conditioning, so thank you for that. And with that, thank you.
Well said, and I'd like to piggyback on what you're saying. I would love to see our community come forward with ideas and solutions instead of, exactly what she said, being on Facebook and just constantly bashing whatever we do. Doesn't matter what we do. I know we're going to take some criticism, but I would love to hear ideas and solutions to help us out too. Listen, Well, I wish I knew everything, but I don't, and everybody up here is the same way. And also to her point too, we are taking steps. This is a first step. We're taking steps. Besser Community of Hope got enough grant of $3 million. It's probably for the south end of Hagerstown. It's probably going to be more than likely developed around housing. Hagerstown Housing Authority is working on projects. We're working on a crisis center. There's so many things that we have that we're doing behind the scenes that we don't broadcast out just quite yet. But just be patient. We're working on all those steps. I'd like to invite Chief Kiefer up to the podium real quick too. I want you to help me out on the misconception that we are seeing through Facebook right now about this ordinance. I mean, this ordinance is exactly opposite. We're not trying to arrest our way out of this. We're trying, correct me if I'm wrong, we're trying to point towards resource.
That's correct.
Okay.
So the misconception about the ordinance is that we're just going to show up and see someone that's homeless in a public space and charge them with a crime. That's the last thing that any of us want to do. So again, we've talked about this numerous times, and what this ordinance gives us is the ability to take those very few rare individuals who have self-will that are choosing to do what they're doing. And to be clear, not everyone that we deal with, that everyone in this room has talked about tonight, are homeless. The majority of them are not homeless. They choose to live their lifestyle on the street, but they have a place to go to. They have some place to go, whether it's family, friends, or whatever. But on those rare occasions when someone chooses not to follow the rule, when we ask them to move along from a public space, and they choose not to do that, we now have an ability to deal with that. To a gentleman that spoke earlier, if someone's laying next to your porch stoop on the public sidewalk and they're not blocking the free passage, there would be nothing outside of this ordinance for us to do. You would have to walk outside of your house and see and deal with the person that's sleeping and camping outside of your personal home. And this gives us the ability to do that if we have to. The main thing that we do is resource oriented. I have a civilian employee that does this full time, Ashley Roush. And just in the last couple months, we've worked on, the city staff, Ashley and my team have worked on getting several families housed that were homeless. We're talking men and women and children. So we are working on those things. And I agree that, we could use additional resources from our community, but it's not really resources that the city can provide. It's resources that have to be provided by those entities that are out there currently. And money and staffing and volunteerism is really hard to come by when it comes to those issues. We do not want to lock people up or charge people with crime under this ordinance. This is on those rare occasions. As we spoke about before, my staff, when I asked how many people would this affect in a year, 10 at most, 10 people. Out of the countless people that our community call about, 10 people is what we would probably be looking at. And it's only in public spaces, not private property, public spaces. And it's outside of those issues like a city park or fairgrounds park that have a closing time where you cannot be in the park. We have an ordinance that covers those things. So we are always going to be looking at getting voluntary compliance from everyone we come across, just like we do with every other ordinance we have. Voluntary compliance. We ask you to move, you move. There is no other issue. You can move down the street, you can move where you got to go, but you cannot sleep or camp in public spaces and just do that with impunity, because it does have an impact on the rest of our community. And business owners, for downtown business owners, property owners and residents have been clamoring and complaining about the issues of what they think is homeless issues, and sometimes it is and sometimes it's not, is a real issue and a real problem that we have to deal with. We, from the police department, are trying to do that outside of an enforcement component as best we can. But we are just a police department. And a lot of the issues that we're dealing with, our society says we shouldn't be dealing with because they are social service issues or they're social issues. But we are the people that have to respond to these calls. So we are trying to find alternative ways of dealing with that. This is a very minor enforcement tool that gives us the ability to do that on those rare occasions when we have no other recourse to deal with a certain situation. That's all this is.
Yeah, and I want to, people don't see the emails that we get from businesses, residents that are clamoring on one side, hey, do something about this. And we're trying to, like exactly what you just said, we're trying to put something in to try and direct people to resource. And I think that's what I know that's what we're trying to do here. And also keep in mind, this is a trial. So, Councilwoman Anderson came up with the idea, do this a 6-month sunset on this for you guys to give us, the police department to give us data and help us understand if this thing is working. If it's not working, then we're not going to renew it. And if we'll revisit it in 6 months. And I think,
This isn't gonna solve the problem.
no, it's not.
It's
Absolutely
not
not.
anything remotely gonna solve the problem. It's gonna solve some immediate issues that are very significant and very uniquely into those one-offs, when we don't have any other recourse. That's the only time it's gonna have any impact. But you're not gonna see this impacting the issues we see on the street every single day. This is gonna have no impact on that whatsoever. And this is just gonna solve those individual problems from time to time that we don't have any other choices.
I think maybe a good idea too is to have a roundtable with all the community partners here and help them, help us and get talking points across to the public as well on what they see and what they deal with every day, as well as you guys.
Well, like I said, we're trying, I've introduced a year ago, the concept of a tiny village, and I got beat up for that.
I know.
The community came out and was outraged about that idea, so can't have it both ways.
But that was a misconception as well.
Misconceptions on what
Yes.
that was supposed to be about as well. So the reality is that we have to have a lot of the carrot to get people to do the right thing, and some people just aren't ready. Their addiction, their mental health, whatever that issues are that they're dealing with, the crisis that they're in. But free will, we can't change free will of people. And sometimes the free will is where we have to have some kind of an enforcement component that works on that. Like I said before, we're working with a district court judge on a community care court that we can work on services provided using the court system in that fashion without penalizing people for that. So again, models that we've seen around the country that work, and they are not about punishing. They are about getting that voluntary compliance when people are in those crisis modes that aren't in the right state of mind to be able to do the things right now, but getting them into this situations that allow them to do that. That's the goal, is to get them the help that they need so that we don't have to get the calls on them anymore. So that's it. That's where we're at.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Sure.
To Michael Staup's point, I have not done a ride-along with him, but I have done ride-alongs with the police department. And actually, going myself, I go out and I see what's going on throughout the city. I make myself available. I mean, my gosh, I can't step 5-10 feet inside of a baseball game at the stadium without somebody saying something to me about all kinds of issues. But I am out there available, and I am listening to people. And we are having staff discussions with us and staff on ordinances that we can hold landlords accountable on different things throughout the city. So there are things we are working on that we're getting to. And I want to also jump on what she said, that the Boys and Girls Club thing was amazing. Having Dennis Scott there and having Governor Larry Hogan there, and everybody speaking, it was amazing. And seeing that facility, it was a really cool thing coming. So I want to congratulate them. And that's it for me. Do I get a motion to adjourn? Can I get a second? Any discussion on any items tonight? Okay, we're adjourned.